It is time for the Drew Yari Show. Drew Yari.
Well, hello everybody. Wasn't expecting to do this. I know I mentioned before that we weren't going to do a show this week, but this is kind of like, I guess, like a last minute emergency show. But we're not live. Well, I'm not live. But yeah, on last week's show, which was really good. So if you haven't listened to that, listen to it, please. Justin and RJ did like 2.5 hours of them just shooting the shit, and it was really fucking good. I even made a segment about it, like a 1-hour segment on the state of pro wrestling, which I put on YouTube. I just put something else on YouTube that I've been meaning to put on for a while, and I just decided, fuck it, it's the holidays, since we're not doing any shows this week, or any live shows, so to speak, but I just decided to put this one out. Just to talk a little bit about Survivor Series predictions. I don't know. I was thinking doing a Full Gear review show, but I didn't even finish the whole show. I just completely the last 3 matches were coming up, and I just thought, you know what? It's already about to be 11. I don't need to see any of this shit. I don't need to see the Young Bucks in anything at all in the year of 2025. I don't need to see Kenny Omega. I don't need to see Jack Perry or any of these dipshits. No, I can skip out. Like Mark Briscoe winning the television title, I thought was good, because it's weird, because I guess I'll do like a mini review of Full Gear, but the theme of the show was that the people I liked won, but it's like what, like at what I mean, Mark Briscoe I thought had the bigger victory of the night, because he had that nice little video package where he's talking about his brother, and it was emotional. Like, it was very emotional. I'm like, okay, there's no way they can't let Mark win, and they let him win. He beat Kyle Fletcher, which in some ways is surprising, because he's kind of like their new boy toy, so to speak. They called him Randy Orton, which I'm like, okay, like, please. Randy Orton now would eat him. Like, he would make him his bitch. Randy Orton from 2005 would probably make him want to quit the business, because that's how much of a dick he was. But I mean, good for Mark Briscoe. A lot of bleeding on this show, like a lot of bleeding. I think, was it 3 matches where there was a lot of blood, and it's funny because the week prior with RJ and Justin is, RJ, when the question came up with, what can we do to fix AEW, he's like, why is there so much, like, pretty much like there doesn't have to be blood in every single match. If you're going to use blood, it needs to be important. And there needs to even be a bigger reason why the other guy bleeding in the next match needs to be, better, and, have, I guess, more of a reason to bleed. This was none of those things. You had Kyle O'Reilly versus Jon Moxley, and you already know this is going. 2 or 3 minutes in, Jon Moxley brings out a fork and then stabs Kyle O'Reilly in the head, the stomach, and the tits, and makes him bleed. And it's like, yep, that's where we're going in this match. I mean, Kyle won with a broken arm by making Moxley tap out, and then Moxley just came in the ring, just beat him up again, like, anyway, for no fucking reason. What was the other match that had blood? Mark Briscoe bled, which I mean, it's a hardcore match, but it's like we already had another hardcore match. So it's just like that's already like strike two of like we already had another hardcore match with Blood. Why are we having another hardcore match with Blood? And then the main event, like I didn't watch, but I know Samoa Joe won the title, which I'm happy Samoa Joe won because Justin is a little bit more kinder to AEW than me, but even he sees the bullshit where it's like Tony Khan is terrible at booking. Like people love to suck Tony Khan's balls. Maybe not as much anymore, where it's like every year he was winning Booker of the Year, and it's like this dude is terrible at the aftermath. He knows how to do the build up, but as soon as that build up commences, what happens? That's exactly what happens. Page had all that build up in his first title reign, wins it against Kenny Omega, and then what happens? Well, CM Punk happened because he did that dumb shit where he basically used the reason. Essentially, it was the reason for the downfall of this company. And then same thing, Page wins the title back again. He wins it back from fucking the clutches of Jon Moxley, and then what happens? Nothing at all. And again, I like Samoa Joe, but it's like afterwards you have fucking Swerve come out, who's like yoked, so good for him. But it's like, and again, not even a Page guy, but why did Joe need to win the title for that to happen? Like, why? I really don't get it. Like, eventually those two are going to team up together and be BFFs, because that's just how not even wrestling works, but everything works. Like movies and comic books and TV shows. Like, if they start out as enemies, they're going to end up being best friends. Goku and Vegeta started out as enemies, then they became best friends. Who's someone else? I don't know. Literally every movie or TV show that's ever been made, comic book has ever been, same thing. But it's like, yeah, bleeding that much, it makes the other guy bleeding in the other match mean less. And my whole thing with AEW is I do want it to succeed. Never once said I don't want AEW to succeed. Like, I want AEW to do fine. It's just, people can gloat about it all they want. It's like, yeah, the arenas look big and the crowd loves literally everything, even though there's a point in sometimes in the show it feels like the crowd is tired and they just don't care. And they're just pretending to be happy. But whatever. But it's like the ratings are fucking terrible. Tony Khan was like, "Oh, we're competing with SmackDown." It's like, no, you're not. You're barely competing with NXT, and they're kicking your ass. Pretty soon, fucking Impact is gonna be on your tail. Jericho's right. Like the pay-per-views at fucking TNA, they make it look like the second biggest wrestling company in the world, and the crowd seems more invested in TNA. But, my whole thing is like Tony needs to be out of the booker position. And before anyone wants to even ask me, who do I think could fill in that spot? I don't know. I would say put in like someone who's, Bryan Danielson I think could make a better booker, because even Bryan Danielson, when he's on commentary, they just let him say whatever the fuck he wants, and he kind of criticizes this shit. So I think Bryan Danielson would be a good booker. But again, he also kind of seems like the guy who wants to be the nice parent. Like, he doesn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. So again, I don't know who it could be, but just anyone but Tony Khan that has, half a brain and knows how the shit works. But, the defenders of this shit, the sickos, they're going to tell you it's the greatest thing they've ever seen. They're going to tell you every pay-per-view of AEW is the greatest pay-per-view of all time. Every single episode of Dynamite and Collision is the single greatest episode of Dynamite or Collision that they've ever seen. Who was that dude on Twitter that every episode of Dynamite was always the greatest episode of Dynamite? There was a dude on Twitter, and I'm blanking on his name. But again, I have friends that like AEW and they defend it on their last dying breath. And to be honest, I have to mute them sometimes because sometimes it gets a little bit too much, where they're a little bit too obsessive about it and a little bit too tribal about it. So I'm like, hey, teach his own. It's just not for me. I watched it because I had to, but teach his own. But I mean, it was fun seeing the women. I like the women's multi-person tag. I'm digging Tony Storm and what the fuck's her name, Mina. Them as a tag team doing like the buddy cop, movie, gimmick. That was kind of funny. I get a kick out of the Sisters of Sin, who are these like teensy weensy, little girls who are doing the whole "we're scary," devil worshippers. It's like, sure, we'll go with that. But people like it, so whatever. Who is it? The Savage Babes, Babes of Wrath. There you go. I always want to call her Chelsea Green. She's AEW's Chelsea Green, but I can't really think of her name right now. And boy, I am terrible with names. I'm fucking god awful with names. Hold on. Let me look up this name. Full Gear. Let's take me images. Okay, right. Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron. That's a fun tag team. Willow is, I'm like, for the love of God, find a way to get her out of the company and get her to WWE and have her make real money. Like, for the love of Jesus. I mean, that's kind of how I look at most people in this company. I mean, granted, WWE's booking hasn't been great as of late, but, I think one can argue that Triple H isn't fully the one booking the show anymore. But you still see flashes of genius every now and then. So I see a lot of people on the show where I'm like, they can go to WWE and get more TV time and get more noticed and make more money. Willow, I think, could be that. Harley seems like she's doing fine in AEW, but granted, I think her and Chelsea would make a great team. Just playing off of each other's humor. I think they'd be amazing. Everybody else, Julia Hart, Sky Blue, they can stay. Toni Storm seems happy, even though she's Toni Storm. I think one can argue she's maybe the biggest star in AEW. She's the most over wrestler in AEW because she has a gimmick that's worked for 2 years, and it's still ongoing, and she's still finding a way to keep herself fresh. So to me, it's like she's obviously happy in AEW. And, we've had these conversations before with Jeff Littman and Justin where it's like some people are just a better fit elsewhere. Toni Storm didn't work out in WWE and was able to come to AEW and have more creative liberties. Which that's one thing I give AEW credit for, is that they don't creatively shackle people. They kind of allow them to kind of do whatever the fuck they want. Essentially, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, or at least I think it doesn't, and other people think it's fucking genius. But then again, what do I know? So yeah, she seems like she's happy in AEW, and I don't. WWE is just so fucking weird because they want to bring in these people because they have a lot of buzz on them, and then they only allow them to maybe be half of what they were. That made them, famous. Because the Vince era was like, you can be you, but you really need to be us. So we're gonna put our image over it. Hence the broken gimmick where they made it Woken and it got watered down. Cross, they took away everything special about Cross that got him over in NXT, and then they fired him and they brought him back and he was able to finally get himself over, but then that just didn't work out. So someone like Toni Storm, I'm like, I wonder how that could work on a bigger stage, but again, WWE's weird. They're fucking weird. So, but I do think Toni Storm is a much bigger name in AEW than most people. Most guys too, in my opinion. You had FTR versus Brodito, which was a fun match. I think it was like the better wrestling match on the show. Brody, another guy I would love to see come to WWE. Put him with Black. Just to have Black form his own, House of Black. I think Buddy might be going back to WWE if I'm not mistaken. I know he put up a tweet where it had like a hourglass emoji, so I think he might be coming back, which would be fun. Bandito's okay. I know RJ loves that dude. I think he's just okay to me. And FTR, for as much as I think Dax is kind of a pussy. I shouldn't say pussy, but he's just complains too fucking much. I'll just leave it at that. They can still put on a great match. They never really seem to have a bad match. So, outside of like the countless false finishes, which I'm like, okay, I guess that's just a old man that yells at cloud problem. I need to kind of let that go eventually. This is a good match. Ricochet winning the AEW National Championship. It's like, I guess, he came to AEW and got himself over by being a fucking internet troll, even though he still can't fucking cut a promo. Like, people are like, oh, you can cut better promo. Like, no, he can't. Like, stop. Don't confuse him being a troll and being an asshole with cutting good promos. Like, no, he still cannot cut good promos at all. Like, stop. The whole Ricochet thing of him going online and talking shit to people, like that was a thing for like 15 minutes, and then it wasn't, for a reason, because it wasn't working, because other people can do it a lot better. Let's see, and then I mentioned Kyle O'Reilly, I mentioned Mark Briscoe. There was the $1 million trios match. The winners will receive $1 million cash prize. Josh Alexander, who's another fucking dipshit, and the Young Bucks, with Don Callis, defeated Kenny Omega and Jurassic Express to win $1 million, and they made up in the end. So good for them. I just didn't watch because I didn't care. Chris Statlander defeated Mercedes Moné to retain the AEW Women's World Championship. I'm happy for that. Granted, I didn't see the match, but I'm happy for that because, again, just the whole Mercedes thing of like, I have 18 belts from, a guy at Wrestling Place Federation. Which, I don't get what the whole point of that belt collector thing is. If it doesn't involve the wrestlers actually showing up on television and getting their belts back, then what's the fucking point? Nobody knows who these... Again, I shouldn't trash on the schools because they're at least getting somewhat of an exposure. But who gives a fuck? This is a fucking shit gimmick. Like, if your gimmick is that I need belts to get over, then you're not really over. It doesn't matter if you're a good wrestler, quote unquote, which she's never been a good wrestler. She was never a good wrestler. In that Four Horsemen group, she was the bottom. She was clearly the ass of the group, and not just because of her personality. Charlotte is clearly the better wrestler, and then you got Bayley and Becky. Becky's probably the bigger star, and then you got Sasha, who, again, Sasha was never good, but people are like, oh, ever since she became Mercedes, she's gotten so much better, and it's like, she's still Sasha. I'm sorry, she's still Sasha Banks to me, and that's not a good thing. She's just not good. Sorry, people. I'm sorry, people that love her, and these grown adult men that chant CEO, which I'm like, the Kevin Castle in me comes out when I hear that kind of shit. I just roll my eyes, but she's not good. I'm sorry. She's really not. I'm not sorry. Fuck her. She's not good at all. But who is good is Chris Statlander. I'm glad she won and held into that title. She's another one of those day ones that you can't just like give her a memory and then just go, okay, we're gonna give it to this bitch. So, I guess it's kind of an interesting storyline when you look at it, where like Sasha has to win all these other belts to feel important. but that one belt eludes her because she couldn't beat Tony for it and she can't beat Chris for it. So I don't know. I don't know if this leads to her losing all those belts and becoming a face, and then finally focusing on, the more important belt. Which again, I still don't care because Sasha sucks. she sucks as a person. She sucks as a wrestler. Plain and simple. And then I mentioned Samoa Joe defeated Hangman. But how many fucking matches are on this show? So 13 matches, and that include 4 pre-show, which I, for obvious reasons, I didn't watch. Oh yeah, Pac and Darby Allin, which, again, the people love the shit out of it, but, again, just gymnastics. I'm sorry. Wasn't for me. Darby is someone that when he's motivated and actually has somebody that to work with that can lead him or is competent, and not just another flippy guy. And I like Pac, but Pac's a flippy guy, and Pac's is another one of those guys that needs somebody that knows how to work to really put on a better match. And again, I'm speaking from my own taste. But yeah, Full Gear, it was what everyone assumed it was going to be, better or worse. All right, so I'm going to do Survivor Series predictions. I'm going to upload this particular episode on Saturday morning, heading into Survivor Series. The other video that I'm doing is going to be uploaded tomorrow morning. So I got 2 videos coming out this week, people. So be grateful. So Survivor Series is going to be in Petco Park in San Diego, California, November 29th on Saturday. So a stadium show, a baseball stadium show. So it is the first Survivor Series to be held in a Major League Baseball venue. And the second event to be held in the U.S. state of California after the 2018 event in Los Angeles. It will also feature the first War Games match to take place inside of a stadium since July 1988, which is held by WCW. And it is John Cena's last pay-per-view match. So, all right. So Survivor Series, 4 matches. Yeah, I think that's all you need. The Survivor Series matches are both going to be 30 apiece. So, let me start from the bottom. Stephanie Vacour defending the Women's World Championship against Nikki Bella. Stephanie is going to win, and Stephanie is going to have to put this bitch over. She's going to have to do everything she can to make this bitch look competent. And I don't mean to say bitch, because I don't think Nikki Bella's a bad person. I really don't. But it's like, the whole heel turn thing was forced. I think people figured it was going to happen, but did it really need to happen? I mean, I don't want to see Nikki Bella wrestle in the year 2025 in general. I don't. And then Bree's talking about coming back, which I'm like, ugh. Like, no. Stay home. Stay home with your weird husband who can't smell, colors or whatever. I don't want to see this match. The whole Nikki... First of all, that fucking weird promo. I know it was last week, but the whole promo where Nikki attacks Stephanie from behind and she's just holding her by her head and cutting just a really shitty heel promo. And I'm just like, okay, Stephanie... If Stephanie didn't get concussed, why doesn't she just get up and just beat the shit out of her? Like, why are you making your younger... champion. Why are you making your champion that you're putting all this money into look like a fucking pussy? Like, I don't get that at all. I really don't. Like, that was bad booking, because they're insistent on giving this broad something, and I don't get it. I really don't get it. Yes, they're over, but it's like, there's people I know that love these bitches, and I'm just like, why? I don't get it at all. They're fucking awful. They're fucking awful. Awful with a capital A. But yeah, Stephanie's going to win. And it's going to be competitive, and Nikki's going to botch moves. And it's going to end with Nikki being like, oh, I just want to see what you're made. Oh, she doesn't actually talk like Hank Hill from King of the Hill, but You already know what's going to happen. I don't feel like doing impressions tonight. But yeah. Dominic Mysterio versus John Cena for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Personally, I'd have this main event the show because it's in San Diego and Dom is, the guy right. Oh, I don't want to say the guy right now, but Dom is one of your top guys right now. And Cena again. This is Cena's last pay-per-view match. I would have Dom win. Personally, I would have Dom win. Because Cena winning the Intercontinental title was a good moment in Boston. I'm interested to see how Dom's reaction is going to be. Because obviously Dom is going to get a big reaction because he's in San Diego and people love Dom. It's weird. Dom goes through these weird spurts where he's beloved, and then the next week he's booed again, and then he's beloved and booed again. So I think he's obviously going to get cheered, but Cena's going to get the bigger cheer because it's Cena. It's his last pay-per-view. But I think Dom's going to win. There's no reason why Dom shouldn't win, unless whoever Cena faces in the Last Time Is Now tournament, match in December 13th, he's gonna drop the title to them. But from the way it looks like, it's gonna be Gunther, and I don't see them, downgrading Gunther to the Intercontinental title. So I don't know. I think Dom's gonna win. To me, whether it's through fuckery or Cena, puts him over clean as a sheet, we'll see. But to me, this should be the main event, in my opinion. The War Games matches. This is probably in the WWE era of War Games. These are probably the most star-studded of the War Games matches to me. For the women, which I think might open the show, is Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, and AJ Lee versus Nia Jax, Lash Legend, the Kabuki Warriors, and Becky Lynch. I see the faces winning. It's weird because looking at both matches, I can see one where the faces win. I can see the other matches where the heels win. I'm gonna go with the heels. I'm gonna say the heels win, and Becky pins AJ. And that just furthers along this feud where, AJ is still feuding with Becky and she's still wants to beat her ass, and then eventually no, I was gonna say the Intercontinental title, but Becky dropped that to fucking Maxine. Oof. Either way, I think they're still gonna keep up the feud. So I'm gonna go with Becky winning for her team by pinning AJ. To me, it's not gonna hurt AJ if she loses. Lastly, you have the men's War Games match. You have CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, the Usos, and Roman Reigns versus The Vision, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, and Brock Lesnar. Again, the most star-studded of these WWE-style War Games matches. This is tough. Because I know I just picked the heels on the other one, so I got to pick the faces on this one. You want the people to go home happy, so it's one of those things of like I can't really. I can understand if either or win. I don't think Brock's gonna take a pin. I don't think he cares if he takes a pin. I mean, he just tripped on live television on Monday, which I cackled at, by the way. And I'm going with the faces. Like, fuck it, have the faces win. Roman Reigns and CM Punk were in Zootopia, which is awesome. And Logan Paul, I think, is going to take the pin. To me, he's going to take the pin. So that is my Survivor Series predictions, along with my Full Gear predictions. I hope everyone had a happy and safe Thanksgiving. My Thanksgiving was all right. I got full quick. I only had one plate, and then I tried to have another plate, and I just couldn't finish it. So I'm mad at myself because I should have scarfed that shit down. But happy Thanksgiving, people. Like I mentioned, I will upload this Saturday morning, heading into Survivor Series. It's Seems more appropriate. And subscribe to the YouTube channel. We got a few new subscribers today. I think it's like 173, 174. So subscribe. It's free. Hit the like and comment button. And what else? Shouts to everybody. Justin, of course, who makes the shit work. I said that a lot, and I mean it. From Spinebuster Tees at spinebustertees.com. If you live in the San Antonio area, head over to Wonderland Mall, and go to spinebustertees.com. He has everything you need. He has t-shirts that he makes himself with love. He has action figures, Funko Pops, magazines, DVDs. So he has everything a wrestling fan would love. You'd be in wrestling nerd heaven. So head over to spinebustertees.com. And also Spinebuster Tees if you live in the San Antonio area. You had RJ. We do our show, Friendly Neighborhood Marks, which we'll be doing next week. It's going to be Thursday mornings. We're going to start going live. Makes it easier to do the stories, too. And also easier to just upload. We don't have to worry about uploading the audio. We can just record. So look out for that. And look out for RJ stuff, too. I know he has a CAW YouTube channel where she broadcasts live on Twitch. And so RJ, shouts to him. Ruben Prime, we do Culture Attack, which at the moment, not sure when the next episode is, but be on the lookout for when it does come out. Jeff Lippman, of course. Our next episode, the next time we'll be doing something will be for NXT Deadline. So that'll be December 6th. Because I'm not going. Because those tickets, I checked the tickets, they're too expensive. So I'm not going. And then Metal Drive Hoops, which is a basketball podcast, which I do with my friend Anthony, my childhood friend Anthony. He just came back in the country, so we are going to be doing the second episode this Sunday. It's pre-record, and he's going to be bringing a friend of his, so it should be a fun show. If you love the NBA, if you love the San Antonio Spurs like we do, you might enjoy it. I mean, you will enjoy it. Fuck it, you better enjoy it. We only did one episode like last month because he literally left. He left the country, and then he just came back this week. So we're going to be doing the next episode Sunday. So I can't wait for y'all to hear it. But that is all, people. And also, program note: starting next Wednesday, we're changing the time, so we're going to be an hour earlier from here on out. We're going to be going out at 8 p.m. Central Time, so 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be live on YouTube and the Wrestling Soup Discord. So same channel but different time. So going live an hour early. The earlier the better. And also once we're done, we're out of here before 10. So ask Justin himself. I actually asked him, would you prefer moving it to another day? And he said Wednesday's fine, but I'll prefer to go a little early. And asked him, and he said an hour, and I agreed. So 8 p.m. Central Time, people, starting next Wednesday. All right, people. See y'all later. Like I mentioned, happy Thanksgiving, and also Black Friday's coming up, so be careful out there.
The Drew Yowery Show begins now.
Have a happy Survivor Series weekend. So take care, people. Peace.
The Drew Yowery Show.
It's Drew Yowery. It's Drew Yowery.
The Drew Yowery Show.
It's Drew Yowery. It's Drew Yowery.
The Drew Yowery Show.
It's Drew Yowery.
The Drew Yowery Show.
It's Drew Yowery.
The Drew Yowery Show.